So at first glance you think these just go in and out, but they don't just go in and out, because this is a circle, this is an arc. The when it's in, it's at this height. Have we marked that good? When it's in, it's up there. When it's out, it's down here. You see? Because of the arc of this, because it's going round, this is going round, that might be going in and out, but it's also going up and down at the same time, isn't it? So we're going to watch out for that. It's not a case of just putting a little nut the same size as this, welding it on there, because it would foul, it would trap, wouldn't it? So we've got quite a bigger nut to find to be able to move it, because you're only making a resistance from this door opening and shutting. So even if it is loose and it does rattle, it don't matter, because it's still going to do the job it's going to do, which is stopping from this door moving this way. So let's find a nut with quite a big hole in it to put there. Yeah, we might have to bring this back a bit to allow for that. Yeah, let's try that then. So this is working pretty good, look. It's in a bigger hole, but not too much of a bigger hole. There's enough to hold, you know, it's strong enough to hold that in place. It's a box spanner, so what we'll do is we'll tack this in place now. Try not to blow a hole in the box spanner itself. That's going to be just fine. A little bit there. Nothing that's going to cause us any aggro. Yeah. It's working in and out nicely. Yeah. Little bit there, so tap that up slightly. That's going to be working fine there. Weld this onto there. Cut this off. Use the other end of the box spanner. Do the same down here. And we've cracked it. We've got what we want. Pull that back. Weld that on. Cut that off. Use this piece down here. And we're there, aren't we? We are there. Yeah. Yeah. It's going to work just fine. That worked out just fine, didn't it? Look. There's a bit of deburring to do. It's a bit of caught there roughness. What would I do with that? Shall I just put a thicker end on that and it comes out a little bit further? We'll see. Anyway, it's done the trick, hasn't it? It's done the trick. It's done what we want it to do, because we'll just make this like a bar, I suppose. It won't go straight into a, you know, some jobs you send out of one hole. Some of them you just send it out of one hole straight across the road into the next hole. But it doesn't matter if that's a hole or a bar or whatever, it's still holding it, isn't it? And the same, look, you start with a big hole, then you work your way down till you get a smaller hole. It all catches the door, isn't it? That's what they call the door catch, to catch the door. So yeah, fully locked, fully opened. Plenty of room to maneuver in and out. I suspect I'll cut that short though. Depends on how much we end up through the linkages. It depends on how much movement we have or we haven't got. It might be a small movement, or it might be a longer movement. We won't know, because we ain't got there yet. Anyway, same again down here now with the oops, be careful, that's hot, with the other end of the box spanner. So that's why I like doing it as you go along, because we've done and tested the top one, that's working fine. So we're going to do this one now. So if we've got any problems, we know the problem will only be coming out of here, because we've done and tested that one. That's working fine. This seems to be working fine. A little bit rough somewhere. You can hear it on the threads, but we'll smooth them out, or we might do something with them. But anyway, same trick. Weld this onto there, and then cut the end off. That's going to be just fine. That is, yeah, and enough rattling. Well, when we're coming in, it doesn't matter if we make a noise, but we want it also, as they're trying to work it and break it and get through it, we want it to be making as much noise as a damn thing will make as well, so they can't do it sneakily in the dark. So that's been the plan with this all along. It's going to be a sneaky. So fully shut is shut, and fully open is shut. Yeah. So that's going to be the sneaky thing. This lock is going to be shut when it's shut, but when you open it, or when you think you're opening it, well, actually you're shutting it again. So this is going to be a middle. Cut them off flush. This is going to be the secret bit about it. So shut is shut, open is shut. And this is going to be the sneaky thing about the Reggie lock. So now we've just got to continue along now and try and make a link around the other side. And I was thinking of, you know, the film shows it going side to side. It doesn't have to go side to side, does it? It can also go up and down, can't it? So I was thinking of, hold on, let me just undo this with one hand, right. So it would also work up and down. Hold on a minute. So we were presented with it that way, weren't we? But it would also work up and down, wouldn't it? Yeah, it would work up and down in the same way. I guess it's going to be linked by this sort of thick shaft. So bringing that along here and then bringing it up somewhere, at least we could utilize this bar here, couldn't we? You know, we could go along if we wanted to, along here. But I was thinking also up and down, and then it would be quite stiff. So the plan now is maybe make it up and down, sit the bottom plate here, bring that down to shut it. And then as we've done, did you notice with this? It's quite easy to move. But it's connected to quite a heavy bar with a rod, isn't it? Well, the reason that's working is because I've put a spring on it. So it's neutralized the weight. The spring is enough. I found the right spring to make it not too heavy, so it shuts down. Not too heavy that you can't lift it up, but at the same time, not too light enough so it moves easily. This weight of a bar and a connection, but it's because I've spring loaded it. So I've put it in a neutral position so it weighs. It doesn't weigh. You don't feel the weight of it. No, so that when you throw this here, you don't feel the weight of it. So we could do this the same, but maybe a stronger spring so that shut is shut, and when you open it, it'll want to open automatically. So you won't really think about trying to put it in the middle position. what will happen is you'd undo the screw, the spring would lift it up, so it would automatically re-shut it, and then you would be up to whatever handle or whatever you put here, and some sort of a sneaky marker, say there, it's got to stay. So you bring it down to the little mark, whatever you want to put here, then you know that's open. So that'll be shut, this will be shut, that will be open. That's the train of thought I've got at the moment. But everything can change, so we've got to get through here, cut them out, get the shaft in there, come over to here without getting fouled up with all this stuff that's already here. So might have to be down. Might even be a foot one, couldn't it? You could even put it where you use your foot to, as you know, as a secondary sort of a thing. What do you think? Spring-loaded foot catch, maybe. Anyway, we're a little step closer to where we want to be, and I'm guessing this will just be the keep on this will just be a flat bar. But it's quite a way away from there, isn't it? Quite a way away. And as this one is, I don't want this. I didn't want this. Hold on. I didn't want this to catch you as you walked in. This one does this, but our hands, as we're closing this lock, our hands are already busy. So what happens with this is I didn't want it to be sticking out there for you to catch yourself walking in and out the door. So this folds out the way. We've got a little handle on it. So when we're closing that, this is fixed onto the frame. Fine, we know that. The door shuts onto this. This one was a bit, and again, it's just a bolt welded in there. Look, so that holds it in place. So when I shut it, I push on this little lever. That sort of holds it sort of level, and then we can pin into that, see. So we're going to have to do some sort of a system that goes out of the way so you don't catch yourself going in and out the doorway. There's nothing worse than having something stick out on a door and you catch yourself. Yeah? Oh, please, yeah. Nice warm bread. So we don't want to have it sticking out and catching ourselves. And of course the big nice nut, heavy nut, as soon as you open the door, that opens and shuts and goes back out the way. So we've got that to think about as well. We're going to think about that. But let's concentrate on connecting this bit with this bit. And what route are we going to take? Because I think making this slide along something in a groove for me is going to be quite difficult. But I think coming down might be easier. This would be fixed. Anyway, let's think about it. So I don't think we've got a choice. It's not a case of connect to any of these. I think we haven't got a choice. We've just got to weld a bar onto there now, haven't we? And that bar is going to go up and down. And that's what's going to control it. I think, yeah. Obviously it won't be a little bit of tube. I don't like using all thread because when you weld, half of it is thread, so you lose it. That's why I use these bars, but again, these bars are a bit OTT, aren't they? But you can always neutralize the weight of them by putting a spring on them to help them along. So yeah, let's weld. Let's get a piece of this, cut it to length, weld it on the end of there. That's going to control it. So I think that's probably the next move. Weld a bar on the end of here long enough. We could put a joint in it, can we? Are we going to start with all thread? Put it find the size we want, because we can adjust it in and out, can't we? And then make us a bigger bar the right size, because we need this to be able to be adjustable whilst we're making it, whilst we're figuring it out. So it looks fairly simple. Put this here, put that, change the end of that into like an angled bar, and that would go up and down. That would go up and down like that, wouldn't it? So imagine that the other way around. Imagine that being on the end of a 90-degree bend. That's going up and down there. Cut these grooves out of here. This is fixed down here. Yeah, that's fixed there, say. Then this would be going up and down like on the end of an Allen key. Will that give us enough movement the other side of the door to make this is going to be going up and down, isn't it? So we could link that together there. That would drive that up and down, which will make that go in and out. Would be along here somewhere. And that, so we just cut that in half, bring that down here somewhere. I wonder, where's the lid gonna catch? Okay. It's gonna foul. Oh, we might have to remake this longer, or remake this longer, because you're gonna need at least that much clearance, which that brings that up to there, doesn't it? So which reduces the up and down movement, which I don't think will give us enough of a throw on this, because you know, the further out you go, the longer it's got to go, unless you put another funny fangled junction in it, a lock in it. We could do the same. This is slightly longer, isn't it? We've got more of a room to move on here, haven't we? 1, 2, 3, 4. We've only got 1, 2, 3, 4 tight at the top. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. This can fit down there. We've got more of a throw there, but of course it's further along, so it's got to move further, hasn't it, to be able to link it to here. Unless we put a funny joint here. We could put a funny link joint there, but that's going to be a... We could put a, you know, you can always make a long movement. You can always make... What have I got to show you? Wherever you pivot it, so if you pivot it in the middle, it's equal, but you can always put the joint here. So a small movement here would make a large movement there. So you could put that in it, didn't you? You could change that. You could get a little movement here to make a long movement if you needed to. Maybe. But it means... Hello, pussycat? Okay, baguette time. Let's think about that. Let's have a nice warm baguette and think about that, shall we?